Aquarius and Cancer. Hello, welcome to an Aquarius experience. I will be doing a connection spread for the highest good of the relationship. This could be friends, family, or love interest. This is also could be work. Aquarius and Cancer. Aquarius, you have the 10 of Wands. So it seems like you are kind of at the end of something that for you was quite heavy. Could have been also painful, long, kind of at the end of a journey. For your challenge, you have, there's a lack of communication due to some sort of clarity. So here, although you are at the end of some kind of journey, doesn't mean that you have received clarity as far as what that journey means. It's kind of like, okay, I know there's a lesson here. What is it? You don't know yet. But it's good that you're seeing that there is a lesson to be learned. For Cancer, they have the Wheel. So that's interesting because in one sense, it looks like Aquarius, you're at the tail end of a journey, and Cancer could be just kind of in that cycle, and they could have been at the end, but they're right on back to that same cycle. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's a cycle with the Aquarius. It could just be a cycle that they have reoccurring and playing out in their life over and over again. For their challenge, they have the Moon. So yes, lesson not learned for Cancer. Unfortunately, they're in that cycle, and I really don't think that it has anything to do with the Aquarius. It looks like it's their own journey, their own cycle. It's repeating once again because whatever has happened and transpired between you two did not serve any purpose. I mean, I don't want to say that. That's pretty harsh, but they still have yet to see that there is something to be learned from themselves. Whereas you are kind of in that opposite, where you're at the end of a cycle. You're at the end of a journey, although you are not quite sure what it is to be learned here. You do know that this is the end, and there is a lesson here. And you may not see it just yet, but it seems like you're getting it. And you're meeting that karmic completion. Together, the mutual energy is an Ace of Pentacles. So there is a new beginning with the two of you. It looks like, Aquarius, you have leveled up, but it's sad to say that it looks like Cancer has not. And maybe they're at the tail end of a journey and a cycle, but they're at the beginning of a new cycle. Probably with you. So Aquarius, you could be coming out of something else that has nothing to do with this Cancer, and you're ready to move on and start something new with this Cancer. Or it was some kind of journey you had with Cancer, and now you're ready to let go of the weight of whatever has been weighing heavy on you. And you're ready to move on and start something new. There's potential here, but while the Cancer is dealing with this moon energy, and the moon energy is stuff that is yet to be seen, but because it's showing up in the challenge, I want to say that they have a glimpse of it. They know that there's things that they're hiding from themselves. And that's progress. It is, because the step lower than that, before that, is just complete denial. So they're not in denial, but they're not looking at it. So they know that it exists, but they're having a hard time accepting that they're leaving these things out and they are not factoring them in to the relationship. For example, if there is some kind of codependency or addiction or substance dependency or use and whatnot, they know that it affects them, but I don't think that they necessarily know how it affects the relationship. And that is what they're choosing to leave in the dark. Or they're having a hard time looking at it, is what I'm getting. Okay, advice for Aquarius going forward. You guys both want a new beginning. But how that new beginning will play out really depends on what it is that Cancer is not factoring in. And it looks like Aquarius has done the work. And as far as communication goes, there still isn't much communication, but well, let's just go into advice here. We have the King of Wands and the King of Cups as advice. Okay, so the advice for Aquarius is to balance out the passion and the emotions. You want to be vulnerable, but also assertive. You want to be compassionate, but also passionate for your own wants, needs, and desires. And you have to kind of approach the situation with those two concepts in mind, and kind of use one and the other and ease in step by step that way. Passion, emotion, like emotional connection, then a desired connection, and kind of just place your footings that way going forward in communication. Cancer, advice for Cancer. Advice for Cancer. We have the Hermit. The King of Pentacles. The advice for Cancer is to take some time to yourself to figure out, first and foremost, your stability and your own groundedness. So that way you can make space for anything more. If you at first stabilize your groundedness, that is when you can make space for self-reflection, enlightenment, alignment, so you can really see the truth of what is really transpiring within the Cancer's energy. You really want to focus on that stability first before you can even retract energy and kind of like come home to yourself, because there's a lot of self-work I'm just seeing now the pentacle inside of this light here. I've never noticed that before. So it's almost like you're using that groundedness in the 3D to kind of light your way to back to yourself. And when you have that stability and that groundedness, and you can actually shine a light on the path back to yourself, that is when everything that is hidden in this moon energy will be revealed. So Aquarius, you're finding it hard to communicate with this individual. Probably because this individual is fixating on their groundedness and their work and stability, because they are nowhere near Aquarius's level of awareness towards the situation. It's almost like Cancer is not even capable at the moment to look into the situation. because their first and foremost priority is to ground themselves, because they are not grounded. They are just spinning out of control right now. So although they want to come forward, they will not come forward unless they find their groundedness and their footing. In the immediate future, what is to be expected between Aquarius and Cancer? We have the Tower and 5 of Wands. Yeah, that's a heavy energy. But let's see. Again, a lot of work. And like there's like this fight against the work, like the self-work that this relationship needs. This Tower moment is happening because the work hasn't been done yet. It hasn't been completed. And there's a fight against that self-work and the work on the relationship. It looks like Aquarius is kind of done doing work. They've done their work towards the relationship, for themselves, and now that's why they are capable of having like this King of Cups energy and this King of Wands energy. That's a really good place to be in, because it is a balance of both passion, desire, and emotional stability, which the Cancer is nowhere near. And so the work, it seems like almost the Aquarius is, they're not making Cancer do the work, but it's because Aquarius has done so much work within themselves. It's now calling for the need for the Cancer to meet them where they're at. And it's causing that Tower moment to happen along both of you, within both of you and the relationship itself. Underlining energies, we have the Hierophant. This is either a marriage or a very serious connection, or it has potential to be a commitment. This also tells me that there is like a dynamic where there's a teacher and a student situation where one could be older than the other, or one is kind of paving the way, which I feel like is the Aquarius. The Aquarius is paving the way. And because Aquarius is doing all of this work, they are now taking kind of like the emotional lead, maybe not the emotional lead, but they're taking the lead, not necessarily by directing, but just like leading by example, I want to say. And now it's just causing like this Tower moment to happen in the relationship where Cancer must meet Aquarius at their level. So it's gonna be a lot of work. It's gonna be a fight. Maybe not necessarily a fight between the two of you, but it's like an eternal fight on both ends. And until that internal fight at both ends meets its end, that's when the possibility for this new stable relationship can proceed or begin. Okay, I'm going to leave that here. If you stayed with me this far, I hope that it was helpful. Until next time, thank you.